now going to touch the pad. Everybody in the world fused. Yeah. Morning crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. And what we've got on the hoist here, just behind the gorgeous and very somber Tool Girl Sam.
What a word.
Hey?
What a word.
It is. Well, you know, that's just the way you sort of come across. You
I
just
like the word sultry.
Sultry. Okay, the gorgeous
Like that
sultry.
dying kind of cute.
Sultry, I remember that one. Yeah, good word. We've got a Honda 200cc ATC all-terrain cycle, I believe that used to stand for. These things were pretty popular back in the sort of early 80s. They sort of took off over in England, although they may have started to be more popular in the US maybe a couple of years before that. And they were sort of the first, you know, low ground pressure kind of farm bike thing. Looks a bit like a quad bike, but there's something missing. And that's one of the front wheels. And I remember in the UK, when they first came out, very quickly there was sort of recalls going on because they felt they were pretty unstable. And I remember there was one where they had to disconnect the front brake, which sounds really weird, doesn't it? You know. And there was another one where they had to weld up the front forks because people were braking into corners, the forks were diving down, and of course the inner rear wheel was lifting off the ground, and the bike would roll over, or they'd stick the foot down and get run over by their own bike. So there was all sorts of issues going on, and obviously in the end manufacturers realised that three wheels wasn't quite enough. They needed to buy an extra wheel for each bike and turn them into a quad bike. Yeah, and quad bikes are obviously a lot safer, but those three wheelers, they did try to throw you off the bike on a regular basis, and you know there were obviously accidents and injuries and stuff. So manufacturers then decided to go across the four wheelers. And well, they've sort of stuck around, haven't they? They've made them wider and, you know, heavier and more stable, I suppose they would say. But end of the day, a quad bike is as safe as the person riding it. If you want to do dumb shit on a quad bike, you're going to hurt yourself. Simple as that. You know, I've done dumb shit on a quad bike and I've hurt myself. It's just the way it is. I've done dumb shit on motorcycles and hurt myself. You can do the same in a car. It's all down to what you decide to do with the vehicle, and I don't believe that quad bikes are any more dangerous than any other kind of vehicle, to be honest. It's all about the training, isn't it? Anyway, so with this old ATC, the reason why I got given this was it was going to go to the crushers, and I thought, well, hang on a minute, just hang fire, because there's an opportunity here to have a little look at a bit of the history of these kind of vehicles. There's some really oddball kind of engineering going on one of these, and also, hey, let's see if we can get it running. That's the fun bit, isn't it? I don't think it's going to be safe to ride. It's got some pretty bad rust around the rims. The tyres are just sort of hanging in there. I put a bit of air in them just to get it safe on the hoist, but I think as soon as you start to ride it, the tyres will pop off the rims. But I don't know. Maybe I'll put Ben on it and see if, because he's our, you know, in-house stunt rider. He'll be fine. He'll ride anything, and if he hurts himself, it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, well, so we've got an engine here, Sam, which basically doesn't run. It hasn't run for a long, long time. The bike hasn't got a battery on it, so we'll dig out a car battery, and then we've got plenty of capacity for cranking the engine over all the time. I don't even know if the starter motor is going to work. It has got a pull cord. That probably isn't going to work. It's probably full of water and rust and stuff. So even cranking the engine over to see if we've got a spark could be an issue. So it's a bit of an uphill struggle. But maybe it's going to be possible. I remember buying an old Honda CM200 twin out of somebody's garden when I was a student. I paid £80 for it. So what's that, about $200, isn't it? For this bike. Got it in the workshop at home. I was about 15, 16 years old. Drained the car, put a car battery jumper on it, and it started. It'd been stood 5 years, and it started up. And I actually rode that bike for about 4 years from that day on. Got it, you know, MOT'd and back on the road. And it was a great fun little bike, and it cost me bugger all. So there is always hope, and Hondas are incredibly reliable engines. So I'm hoping we can at least get it running. Diagnose why it doesn't run, or if it does run, see if there's any kind of faults with it. So you ready to get your hands dirty, Sam?
Yeah,
Cool.
as long as I don't hurt myself.
No, well you've got to pull your fingers, so I think probably some gloves would be a good idea. We'll dig you some gloves out. Okay crew, well let's take a look at the bike. Here we go. Alright Sam, we're doing it a freehand here. We'll have a quick look around the bike and see what's going on.
A lot of rust.
It's delightful, isn't it? It is pretty damn rusty. You've got a drum brake at the front. I'm not sure if these forks have been welded up or not. We'll find out at some point in the day. And it's a single cylinder 4-stroke, and I believe it's 192 cc's of pure tenacious power. Obviously carburetor, given the age. And true Honda power, look at that. Great stuff. Okay, right, see if you can pull the seat off, Sam. It should just lift off, I think. You can pop that on the bench out of the way. And then we'll get that other mud guard out as well. Right, Sam, see if you can pull that. We've only got one mud guard for some reason. It came with a single mud guard, so let's see. It should just pull off. There's no bolts left. There you go. Brilliant. You got it? Cool. Okay, let's have a little look around the back end because it is pretty rough. So we've got the reg rectifier units. Starter relay under there, is it? Let's have a little look. It is. There's the starter relay, so we're definitely going to be in there doing stuff with that. Final drive. And it is shaft drive. I could see you riding this, Sam, across the paddock. Front wheel in the air, knee on the seat, pulling the wheelies. Right, so yeah, the old pull cord. No, it doesn't grip, so the pull cord's screwed. Don't know what this is. What is it? Oh, hang on. Hey, look at this. It's got reverse, low, and high. It's got high ratio and low ratio. What a machine. Pretty cool. I've never actually worked on the larger ones of these, the 200 and 250s. I think it's a beast. I think the guy that designed this deserved an award. An award for putting so many people in the world in danger. Okay, well, I think the first thing, Sam, is to put a battery on the bike. We'll use a car battery with some jumper leads and see what comes alive, and what doesn't come alive we'll try and fix. You ready? Excellent. Okay, so we've got ground just there. These are the world's worst jumper leads. Look at the state of that. I'm just going to straighten it up with my thumb. It's just crap, honestly. Chinese stuff, I'm sure it is. There we go. Right, that'll work. And we've got positive, so we can't touch the frame with this one. So we'll stick that. I really have to invest in a new set of jump leads. This is no good. Right, stick that one on there. I think that should insulate it. There we go. Okay, let's turn the key on, Sam, and find out if he's going to give us some lights. All right, Sam, you turn the key for us. See if we get any kind of lights going on. I don't know. I can't see a lot. Can you? Can you see it? It's not lighting up, is it? So turn it clockwise? We're not even getting in neutral. And it is in neutral because I pushed it around. What is going on? Damn. Okay, let's have a little look at the fuse, I think. Right, Sam, we're going to find out where we've got power and where the power stops getting to the loom. So, we'll put the test light onto ground. So we'll stick that on there. And then if you grab that, and if you touch it onto the positive one, on the actual crocodile clip, just somewhere on the metal bit, that light should light up. Yeah. Cool, okay. So we've proved that our power supply is good, and there should be at least enough power to turn the neutral light on. Okay.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Such a strange tool.
It is. I mean, I don't really use test lights very often. I tend to just go straight for the multimeter, but I've left it in the car, so such is life. Right, there's a few fuses around. Oh, look at the state of this. Holy crap. Everything's just falling apart on it. So there should be a fuse in here somewhere. Get rid of all that rubber. that. Old stuff. Okay, so what have we got in this one? I don't even have a wiring diagram. I'll have to try and download a manual for it. Doesn't look very healthy. Alright, so if we'll test the fuse. Can you put the test light on the end of there for us? See if it lights up. Oh yeah, okay, so fuse is good. Wow, that's pretty cool, isn't it? We've got one thing that's right. Okay, we'll stick that back in there again. I've noticed another fuse down here. This looks like aftermarket stuff though. This is doing something else. There's the main fuse, so let's pull that off. See what's going on with that. Okay. Oh my word, hey, you've got a spare fuse. It's pretty cool. Right, Sam. Can you put the test light on either side of that for us? So on either end of the fuse. So one on there. See if it lights up. Yep. And then the other side. Perfect. So that's proved that fuse is good. So we should be getting current, or at least a voltage, into the main loom. So I think we need to go up the top end and have a look up there and see why that neutral light's not lighting up. Because I'm pretty damn sure it's in neutral. So basically we know we've got power going into the loom, and that main feed will run up to the front to go to the ignition switch. So Sam, I think by the looks of it, the wiring for the switch goes into the back of the headlight. So we're going to have to take this cage off, however that comes off, big bolts by the looks of it, and then we can take the lens out and get to the wiring at the back, and then we'll test it at this end to see if there's a break in the loom, because we need to make sure there's power going into that switch. Okay, looks like I'm doing most of the work today, given your serious complaint with your hand. It's near-death experience again for you. What we'll need is, I think, a 12mm spanner, if you've got one, and a 10mm socket, a ratchet and an extension bar. Should work. See what's going on.
Where's the extender?
Extender bar. Now look, that's the one I should do. Jeez, it's even got like such a safe bike. It's even got reflectors still on it. It's fantastic. Cool. Okay, 12mm spanner first, I think, and we'll get these undone. Oh, that's tight, jeez. It's had no love for many, many years, but look at that, right? Look at the quality of the steel. This is what? Early 80s, say it's an 82 bike, just roughly, and it's 2018. What's that? 36 years old? It is, isn't it? 82. So it's 18 years to 2000, and then 2006. Yeah, it's 36 years old. Look at that. That's the quality of bikes, the steel they did back then. And nowadays, 5 or 6 years and that'd be rusty. What's going on? Such a big step backwards, isn't it? Right. That's why I like these old things. They're just so well made. Not well thought out, you know, given the fact it's missing a wheel, but the engineering behind it, the quality is really good. You get this really cool little guard that you can put things on top of the headlight and stuff as well. You know,
Put a basket on the front.
you put your shopping bag, and they've even put little mounts for you to mount the basket. You know, it's a lot of thought going into it. I have seen one or two of these where somebody's actually, you know, they're in really good nick. They like sort of restored it and put new parts on it and things. And that's pure dedication, because you'd never dare ride it. That's for sure. Going on there, just a socket. It's not what we had planned. Cool. Right, I think we should now be able to get that off with the whole headlight by the look of it. So Mr. Headlight needs to come out the back. That's a good fit. I bet they didn't design that very well. Holy crap. That is ridiculous, isn't it? It's such a tight fit in that frame. It might be a little bit better, I suppose. God. Okay. Jeez. There we are. Done. Alright, let's get rid of that. So you've got a posi screwdriver there, Sam. We'll just get that little power outlet taken off. Then we can lose this frame for now.
What?
Star.
Size?
Just a larger one will be alright. Mind your finger. Because you've already got to knock it, haven't you? Okay.
But every time I go to grab something, I keep knocking it and screaming.
Yeah.
Again
Shit,
and
really.
again and again.
There we go.
And then driving makes it hard, like putting down the handbrake. I gotta be really slow and careful, make sure my finger's not sticking out too far.
Well, you don't want to bash your finger into it head on either, do you?
Yeah.
That would hurt. Right,
So
there
I
you
do
go.
it in
You can have
super
that.
slow motion.
Back on the bench. Right, inside the headlight. On motorcycles, this is where all the fun happens in here. There's usually spiders and
Oh.
cobwebs and other weird bugs that live inside headlights, because it's a nice warm environment, you know, when you're riding along, the headlights on, and it's toasty in there. It's good. It's also a good place for faults as well. You can get, because there's a lot of connections in here. Any bugs? There's not that many wires. That's pretty good. There you go, Sam.
Bug just flew out.
Did he? Have a headlight. There you go. You got it? Don't drop it, because it's like as rare can be now. Okay. Right. Get rid of those two nuts. They are what hold the headlight into the frame. They're pretty sacred. Right. So in here somewhere, Sam, is going to be a permanent live. So I wonder if we should just pull the whole lot through and get rid of the headlights around so we can see what we're doing. That'll work. So we'll take the headlight bulb out. 1, 2. Oh, it's had a repair. So green must be ground. So remember that. Green is ground on this bike. Get rid of that. And there you go. You can have your headlights around. Okay. So we're looking for a red wire. Right, Sam. I hate spiders, but I'm not too bad with cobwebs. Which is pretty good, isn't it? Because there's quite a few cobwebs here. Alright, so there's a red. Where's the wire that comes from the ignition barrel? There. That one. That's the ignition. So let's just see if we can pull that. See how many wires are in it. There we are, there's the end of it. So all that goes in there, I think by the looks of it there's 1, 2, 3 wires, I think. Oh, maybe 4. 4 wires. A red, a black with a white tracer, and a green. They all go to the ignition switch. However, they also go to those 2 lights as well. Man, this is going to be fun. I think. Oh no, the lights are separate. Okay, so those 4 wires are actually for the switch. So I'm saying that the red should be permanent live. That should be our feed. Up from that fuse that we saw. So let's see if we can find that in here. I'm very tempted to get rid of this. I think we'll just get rid of that, eh? Just pull everything through, it'll be a lot easier. We'll give birth to some wiring. Heave ho. She's a bit tender, that rubber. Cool. That's better. We can see what we're doing now. Okay. Right, so that's our ignition switch. and there's our red. So if I unplug that and you probe into there, just bring your test light down a bit and we can see it in the camera. If you probe in there, it should light up. Yeah? Cool. So we know we've got power going up to the switch. So I'll plug that back in again. Now the question is, which one of these becomes powered once the switch is turned on? So I have a hunch it's probably the black with a red tracer. Let's have a little look. So if you put that onto there, just come across a little bit. There we are. Try to come over here. Right, so now if I turn the key, disturb the camera no doubt. Turn the key on. Nothing, is there? There's no light. Okay, let's move the camera back a bit. There we go. Okay, so it can't be that one. That's not giving us a feed, is it? So let's try one of the other ones. We know green is ground. Right, let's try this black wire, because we tried the black with a white tracer, we got nothing out of that. Let's try the black wire. You probe into that end. There, look. That's cool. And I'll turn the key on. Ah! Hang on. We've got a dodgy ignition lock. When I turn it on, if I turn it on really slowly, we get the light, so we're getting power coming out of the ignition barrel. And if we keep turning, it goes off again. So when you turned it on earlier on, you'd have gone all the way to the right, which is what you normally do. But it's obviously got worn inside. So we're going to need to put it to about there. And then we should get, hopefully we'll plug this back in again, we should get a neutral light. Woohoo! Alright Sam, pull your light out. There we go. We have a neutral. Bloody good. Okay, well, you can put your test light down to one side for a minute, and let's see if we can get this thing to crank over. Sam, if you can just press that button there, we'll just make sure we're in the run position. There we go. Press that button there, look, and let's see if it starts. And again. Cool. Well, that noise is the starter motor relay triggering, but of course the starter motor is not cranking over. So we need to go back to the back of the bike now and do some more tests at that starter relay, at the solenoid.
Fun.
Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, right Sam, so if you grab your little test light, I've got to try and keep you in shot because we're pretty close up here. So if you grab that with your good hand. Right, so this is the starter solenoid, and basically it's just a big relay. That's all it does. It's triggered by that button on the handlebars that you pressed earlier on. So one of these wires is permanent live. So if you can you see there's two? Hang on, see if I can get it off the mount for you. God, everything's rusted up. Ah, there we go. Right, can you see under that sort of rubber hood there's two nuts? Yeah, can you go onto that one? Yeah. Does it light up? Cool. So that's permanent live. Can you go onto that one for us?
Nothing.
Nothing, right. Can you keep that on there? Just going to maybe move the camera a little bit so we can see the test light slightly better. There we go, that's better. Keep it on there, and I'll go and press the start button. All right? And you got to tell me if it lights up.
Nope.
It's doing nothing now, is it? It's not even clicking. What's going on? Oh, there you are.
I can feel it. It's not lighting up though.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I can just feel it clicking.
So what that tells us is the armature inside that solenoid is moving, the trigger circuit's all working correctly, but there's like a little metal bar inside that joins these two bolts together, and it allows the current to flow from here down to the starter motor. So next job is if we bridge that and do the job of the relay, the starter motor should crank, providing the starter motor's in a working condition. So we're going to make some sparks.
Okay.
Cool. We'll lose the test light for a minute, I think. Just took that down there out of the way. Okay. So that's our battery positive coming in here on that heavy cable, and then this one here should be going off to the starter motor. So all we need to do is bridge that across And you can do this as like an emergency. If you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and you hear that click click, it's well worth finding this starter solenoid. It's usually under the seat somewhere, or in this case the back of the bike. You can easily just follow the heavy cables, and whatever you've got in your pocket or a spanner or something, you can often just bridge that across, and it might be enough just to get you home. Okay, well, here goes. It should go no, hopefully. Ooh, sparks. Right, it looks to me like it's not going to crank over. There's a lot of current flow there. Yeah. Okay, I think our starter motor's seized up. So what we'll do now is we'll find the starter motor and we'll put current, using the jumper leads, directly into the feed, into the starter, and see if it cranks over. Chances are it's not going to do. The only fault that would really cause that is if this heavy cable that runs the starters for some reason rubbed through and it's shorting out on the frame of the bike maybe, or on the engine block. But I don't think that's the case, it's not normal. Alright, to the front of the bike, Sam. Okay, so if you look down here, this is that heavy cable that comes from that starter solenoid, and it runs down and goes onto the starter motor itself. Now, I suspect this is seized solid, because it has been stood for a long time, this bike. If you pull that boot back, if I can get it back, I have to get a flat screwdriver, I think. Oh, this might do it. There we go. I can pull that back. That's going to expose the bolt that the wire goes onto. So if we put 12 volts with our jumper cable straight on there, it's probably going to spark a bit, but it might be enough, and it's going to prove whether the starter motor is good or bad. Alright, now the trick is not to touch anything else that's metal in the area, because this is all ground, and that'll make sparks as well. Alright, so it's like one of those sort of like a patience game, where you've got to
operation.
That's the one with a little ring, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So there you go. That's so you've got insulation at the top, but it's bare at the bottom. So if you want to reach in very gingerly and see if you can touch that. In fact, hang on, I might have a better idea. If I put a screwdriver on there, and then you can touch the screwdriver, how's that? So you touch on there. Get on. And again. What's going on?
Yeah, I can't.
Hang on, let's try that. Oh, don't go the metal. It's alright, only spark. It's alright, it's fine. Right, so can you get in, if you come in from there and touch onto that. That's it. So if you turn that 90 degrees, like that, then touch straight down on the screwdriver. So there's nothing, is there? Doesn't seem to be a very good connection. Let me have a quick go and see if I can risk life and limb. Alright, Sam, see if you can reach in, and if you see on the crocodile clip, we've got insulation at the top, but there's nothing at the bottom, so this coppery area, see if you can touch it on top of that bolt, but try not to touch the frame if you can help it. Oh, look at that. So there's plenty of current flowing, isn't there? But the starter motor's not even trying. Damn. Okay, we'll do one last check. It could be that the oh, mind you, the brushes wouldn't be stuck if it's drawing a current, so I'm pretty sure that starter motor is seized up. So we're not going to be able to use the starter motor at the moment to fix it. Damn. And get it running. That's a real pain. I was hoping that would have actually worked. I don't want to hit it with a hammer, because it might damage the magnets in there, on the casing. So that's not good. I need to rethink. Back to the bench, Sam. Damn. We've hit a bit of a brick wall, haven't we? Yeah. So the pull cord doesn't work because the pawls are all rusted up and they don't get thrown out and grip the drum. And okay, we can bypass the fault with the starter solenoid. We can just bridge it. But then we got to the starter motor and doesn't want to know. So I think probably the best thing forward is we might be able to find a nut on the flywheel, or maybe on that pull start. If we take it apart, and then we could use maybe the electric drill or something to actually crank the engine over, just to see if we can get a spark out of it, and see if we've got what we need to get the engine running. Because if we haven't got a spark, then is it really worth fixing the starter motor? If there's, let's say the CDI unit's failed or something, because I really don't want to spend any money on this bike. I just want to see if I can get it going in its current condition. and things are not looking good. Damn. Okay, right, back to the bike, see what we can do. Right, Sam, so I think this is the pull cord, and inside there should be a big nut, and I'm hoping we can use that to at least turn see if we can get the crankshaft to rotate and see if we've got a spark. So first job is to remove the gear lever, and under here there's a 10mm nut. So, I wonder if we can get in there with a little ratchet. Probably not. We'll need to use a spanner for that, I think. And then we can buzz these off using that little impact wrench. So we'll go and get some tools. Okay. Oh, we've got movement. Movement's good. Till it snaps. Doesn't feel too bad actually, it's just incredibly surprising. Might just do it now. Don't stick it under there. I like what fit on perfectly, but it might be enough just to buzz it out. Alright, go on. Oh yeah, look at that. Fantastic. Pretty good. Right, so hopefully. Nope, it's going to need the flat screwdriver treatment. Sam, can you see, tell me when it starts to hurt too much and I'll do it, but you see there, look, there's a little slot in the metal. Put the flat screwdriver in there and give it a little tap. Are you okay hammering with, which one are you going to hold it with? There you go, how's that? That's it. It's like a wedge, so as you hammer it in, it should open this up. A bit more, give it another whack. Go on, be aggressive. Cool. There we go. See if we can, it might be that the screwdriver's just got a bit too far inwards. Oh, there we go, look. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Brilliant. Right, you can retrieve the screwdriver if you want. Give it a wiggle. It should come out. Brilliant. Okay, right, that's that bit done. Okay, now the fun part. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts to buzz out, and they're all 10mm. You've misused that, haven't you? I can tell. Alright, one. There's another one there if you want. Try that one. Cool, yeah? Both the same size, it's good. Means I can't mix them up. What are you doing? It's full of water. That's not a good sign. Okay. Alright, one more to go. He's having a wee look. Alright, that one down there.
Yuck.
Yeah, is it really water or is it something else?
Oh!
Oh man.
It's brown.
That's why that doesn't work.
It's like rusty water.
That's horrific, isn't it? Alright, another bolt. Okay, but there is a nut. Oh, look at that, the crank turns. That's really good news. The engine itself isn't seized up, but the pull cord was.
So messed up.
It's pretty rough.
Slowly.
It's not looking good at all, is it? Poor bike. It's just been parked up and left for years. Oh well. So we need to find out if we can get a spark out of this thing. Next job, pull the spark plug out. And then we'll turn the ignition back on, rotate the engine and see if we can get a spark. That'll work? Deal?
I have no idea.
You're thinking, Andy, why are you working on this bike?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not so much the bike as the process. Yeah? So it's a really good case study of, or a really good example of what you need to do and the things you can expect when a bike's been stood for literally so many years. I mean, this probably realistically hasn't been used for the last 10 years, you know, because it's old and decrepit, and it might have got parked up because it has a fault. We don't know that yet. So it's sort of, it's like reading a book for me. It's just, you don't know what's around the corner, you don't know what the next chapter's going to be. Where do we go next? Well, spark plug. Easy bit. One ratchet with almost the right size socket. If we pull that off there, Can you see if you can get the spark plug out for us? So if you bring your ratchet across here and give it a bit of a yuck. don't hurt your finger. Is it tight? So I'll crack it off for you. Oh, man. Oh, that is tight, isn't it? Yeah, see if you can do it now. It's going to be tight all the way out by the feel of that.
It's not as bad as it was.
That was really tight, wasn't it? I wonder if the threads have been a bit mashed up. I hope not.
I think it's loose now.
You reckon? Yeah, I'll keep going. Poor little engine. It's had such a hard life, hasn't it? It's been neglected. What do you reckon? You twizzle it? Other way. Lefty loosey. So dry as well. Nobody's put any copper paste on it. This is one of the problems when you don't put any kind of lubricant on the threads. Yeah, I'd keep using the ratchet for as long as you can. So when do you go in for surgery on your finger then?
Never.
Other way, lefty loosey.
Oh.
What do you like?
I had it right.
Undo it with a ratchet, tighten it back up with your fingers. Undo it with a ratchet, tighten your fingers. Now it's important we don't drop it because I probably haven't got a spare one that size. I'm a dab hand at dropping spark plugs. Cool. Oh, that actually doesn't look too bad. That's a promising sign. It's not covered in, white fur or rust, anything like that. So hopefully water hasn't got inside the engine. That's a real bonus. Okay, so we can pop that. Well, I'll take your ratchet for you. You can pop that back inside the plug cap there if you want. Just click it back into the plug cap.
This?
Yeah. So that normally sits on top of the plug, on the spark plug, so you can push it into there and you should hear a little. But yeah, that's it, done. And what we'll do is we'll turn the ignition on and we'll see if we can turn the engine using that nut that's now exposed on where the pull cord came out. Yeah. And if we can get the engine to rotate with the ignition on it, we should see a spark. So you can tell me if you see a spark or not. Yeah. Now, what we'll probably do, I think, is we'll use a rather than try and hold it on the block, because you're probably going to get scared that you're going to get a shock and die, we can just use a lead to take off here onto here to give us a good ground, and then it won't be relying on this really corroded surface for the ground. Okay, let's do that. Okay, Sam, if you pop that onto the main nut part of the spark plug, and I'll pop this just onto battery negative, I think. Easy enough. Onto that jumper lead. Cool. And onto the nut bit on there, look, and then it's out of the way so we can see the sparky bit coming up. So now, if I whiz around the other side and turn the engine over, if you want to turn the ignition key until it's until the neutral light comes on, very gingerly. There we go. Right, so we should actually have ignition. So all I need to do now is find a 14mm socket. I should be able to turn that engine over. Alright, Sam, so if you can look really closely on there and tell me if you see a spark. You ready? There he goes.
Spark, like.
There is a spark?
And it's like moving.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it's really tiny.
That's alright, I don't mind tiny.
There's something.
It just shows at least the ignition system is working. Let's try and get a bit of a close-up of that so that people can see how crappy a spark it is. Right, let's go again. How's that?
Shitty.
Poor little bike. Alright, and mind you, if you want to do the drill, hang on, you do the drill this way around like that, so you're away from that, because when it kicks it's gonna want to go that way. So you put it on there. There you go. 2 hands. And don't just suddenly do it, just bring it up slowly on the trigger, and then you'll see it start to turn, and it'll just, because there's a lot of inertia going on there, a lot of resistance. Alright Sam, go for it. Oh yeah, go on, a bit faster. Any good?
Hold on.
It's alright.
Oh, whoa.
Careful, just nice and gentle on the throttle. You alright?
Trying to be gentle.
Yeah, you can just treat it like a woman, you know? It's just nice and gentle. There you go, press the 10. Oh yeah. That's alright, that's a good spark. That's cool. That's as good as it gets. You alright? You recovered?
Very stressful.
Stressful? Ah, it wasn't stressful. We have a spark! High five, Sam! Excellent stuff. That was the major part that I was concerned about on this bike. So we've definitely got a spark, which means that the whole of the ignition system is working correctly. We've got the pickup coil from the crankshaft. We've got the CDI unit. It doesn't have an ECU because it's too old. But the capacitor discharge ignition unit, CDI unit, is working correctly. Now, sure, the spark might not be occurring in the right place, but hey, it's highly unlikely. We've got a spark, we're all good. So, Sam, there's a few more things that an engine needs to run. We've checked for spark, and that's basically, you know, one of the main points, isn't it? We're going to be able to ignite the fuel mixture, the air fuel mixture. We've also got to have good compression. So we could do a compression test, but I think we could leave that to a bit later on. It felt pretty, that was a bit of compression when we were turning it over with the spark plug in, so I'm not too concerned about that at the moment. We need fuel. Well, there's highly unlikely any decent fuel in the tank or the carburetor, and chances are the carburetor might be all corroded up as well, so we need to have a little look at that. But there's something we can use instead of petrol. Alright, so the job of a carburetor is to mix the petrol with the air that's been sucked into a mist, which is then combustible in the cylinder. So a little trick that a lot of mechanics use is brake cleaner is extremely flammable and explosive. We have lots of fun stuff in the workshop, so we can make use of that. So rather than at this point in time worry about cleaning out the carburetor, putting fresh fuel in it, what we can do is remove the air filter. We've got to find it first. Remove the air filter, put the spark plug back in, because we know there's a spark, and whilst I'm cranking it over, or you're cranking it over, whilst one of us cranks the engine over using the drill as our, you know, surrogate kind of starter motor that we're using, the other one can be spraying a little bit of brake cleaner into the intake, into the carburetor, the intake of the carb, and the bike should sort of pop and fart, and it might actually run for a couple of seconds. If it does, then we can sort of look at doing more stuff on the bike. If it doesn't, then we've got to think why it doesn't, because it's getting an explosive mixture and it's got a spark. So is it compression? Yeah. Is there a mechanical fault with that engine? Oh, it's getting exciting. It might run. It might run. Sam's like, nah, why are you bothering, Andy? But it's a cool old bike, and I want to hear it fire up. That's what, you know, that's what we do, isn't it? Okay, so spark plug back in first, I think. Right, Sam. So if you just remove the crocodile clip for us. And I'm going to attempt to put a bit of accurate. In fact, I might even use the other brush. Hang on a minute.
It's so bad.
Right, so what we can do, if you pull the spark plug out of the cap for us, just give it a pull. There you go. And if you want to just hold it still, I'll put a little bit on the threads. Up a bit. There we go. I'll just put a little bit on the threads there, and then that way it won't be so dry getting it out later on, because it's bound to have to come out again. And then you can screw that back into the cylinder head if you want. Remember, it's righty-tighty. Pretty good. And if you turn it by the porcelain at the top, you'll find it'll spin a lot quicker if it's quite free to go in. Cool, yeah. And you can use your ratchet to finish off, or if you want to, you can even just use the socket on the spark plug. That sometimes is a good way of, quite a quick way of tightening them up. There you go, and then you can just put the ratchet on the end, just for the last little bit. Give it a tweak. Doesn't need to be massively tight. Yeah, press the button at the top. There you go. That's it. There you go that way. I wouldn't set you up like that. I set the ratchet for you, right? That'll do. It's not going to go anywhere today. Right, and you can pop the cap back on the spark plug. So the spark goes where it needs to go. Brilliant. Okay, so next job, find the air filter. Next job, we need to be in here. That's where the air filter's kept, and we've got all these jumper leads and all sorts of stuff going on, so we've got to try and tidy that up. Now then, we can get rid of that. So that was our ground for the spark plug. If we can get rid of that, we can go on the bench. And he's probably going to make a few sparks in a minute. That's ground, so that doesn't matter. That's earth, so it can go over there out of the way. So to make sure that's reasonably well insulated. Okay, that'll work. Okay. Right, Sam, we've got 4 little wing nuts. Can you do your side ones, see if you can get them undone? Holy crap! That's...
I don't think so.
What the hell? That's really tight. I think we need some pliers for those. Can you grab us a set of pliers out the top of the toolbox? Oh, they're all going to be rusted up, aren't they? Yeah, they might work. Or you can grab the bullnose pliers as well, and we'll see if we can. Oh, that's not too bad actually. Somebody just cranked them right up. So I can get those ones with these. There you go. So you can whiz those 2 out. No, they're the snippers. So the big, what we call bullnose pliers. They're under those really big pliers, pipe polygrips. Yep, that's it. And they call it bullnose because it's flat on the end. Look, I don't know. Maybe bulls have flat noses. There we go. And to avoid all that water on the bottom of the bench. Now you've got to be careful because things that are parked up, airboxes make really good little homes for rodents and birds and that kind of stuff. So when we lift this lid off, we might find all sorts of stuff. There we go. Oh, you got yours all the way out, did you? I think there might be like a little washer or a circuit or something on the inside so they don't have to come all the way out. Oh, yours was missing, wasn't it? Okay, keep hold of that. So the lid should just come off now. Oh yeah, just give the whole thing a pull. Yeah, see if we can wiggle that off. Anything alive in there? I'm going to use this as a shield just to protect myself. Is it too high? Let's have a look. It hasn't actually got much of an air filter at all. It's gone. It's got like a sock. Somebody's used a sock as an air filter. Fantastic. Okay, well we'll take that out for now. So we need a posi screwdriver again. I think there's one on the trolley. Excellent. Cheers. Right. Let's undo that little clamp. And then maybe. Oh, there we go. Look. That's that. It just comes straight out. Didn't even undo the clamp. Okay. So that is straight into the carb. Well, you know what's going to happen next? We're going to try and start it. Bloody cool. Alright, so we need some flammable stuff. This is brake cleaner. Where's your eye protection? You might want to wear that, just in case. This could go tragically wrong, but it might go really well. So what we're going to do is, do you want to spray the brake cleaner, or do you want to crank the engine over with the drill? Do you want to spray it? Cool. And you're actually pretty good at hairspray, so I reckon this will be pretty similar. Alright, so if you come around this side, yeah, so you're going to spray it in that hole there, and it doesn't need to be lots, alright? I'm going to film it from here because sometimes they pop back and you get this massive flame come out the air filter. Are you ready for this? We've done we've done a few dangerous things in our times, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to be like, what was that on? Was that on there? On the soft tyre. You hurt yourself on the soft tyre. You're so delicate, aren't you? Gotta be very careful. Okay, Sam, health and safety, be careful of the soft tyre, you might hurt yourself. I'll do a quick risk assessment.
Oh.
You get your funny bun?
Yeah.
You should be
right on it.
You should be laughing, you gotta laugh it off.
No, punch it off.
Punch it off. Okay, alright, so be careful of all sharp objects and hard bits and soft tyres. Okay. So I'm just going to get the engine cranking.
They have to be like directly like in it.
No, just from about 6 inches away, but you've got to aim it down the hole. That's the trick, and the induction should draw it in. You ready?
No.
Okay. Oh, it's hot. Come on, okay. Come actually coughed twice, didn't it? It coughed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of like the smell of it, but
Yeah, it'll probably give you a headache after a while, won't it, I think?
well,
We'll give it one more go, okay? Okay. Right, here goes. Yay! She runs! Alright, one more.
oh
Let's do
my
it.
god.
That was so cool, wasn't it? You're so surprised. Alright, let's go again. Yeah. Ready? Oh, and one more. Go on, I want to hit with it. Oh yes. High five. I am so chuffed it runs. Now sure, we should have checked the engine and all that kind of thing, but I want to hit run. That's brilliant.
Nice.
Really cool. So it is old. It's very old. It's probably older than you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is older than you. It's a lot older.
36 years.
It's a lot older than you.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
Sam. Didn't mean that. It's a lot older than you. All right. So the next job is we know it runs. We know it's obviously got reasonable compression. We know the ignition system works. We know the starter solenoid doesn't work. We know the starter motor doesn't work, but we know the wiring does. We found a fault with the ignition switch. Full of faults. It didn't have much of an air filter. It's got no air filter at the moment anyway. So all that we're lacking is fuel, proper petrol. So the next job is to whip the tank off, whip the carb off, clean it up, put it back on, put some fuel in it, and see if we can get it to run on real petrol as opposed to
Stinky stuff.
stinky stuff. You can stick it back on the shelf now if you want. Done. Cool. That was brilliant. We did it. It bloody runs. It's been parked up for God knows how many years, and we actually got it fired up. As you heard, it was running all on its own, and as soon as I actually opened up the throttle and the handlebars just above the idle position, it sprung straight into life, and it ran for quite a few seconds, didn't it, on a bit of brake cleaner. So it's pretty good. So that's a little trick that not a lot of people know about, is you can use brake clean. It doesn't really matter too much on the brand. I think everyone that I've tried over the years has always done the same job. And you can spray that down the intake manifold, and it will act as an air-fuel mixture, just to prove that you've got maybe a fuel problem, when that's why the engine's not running. I'm sure I tried that on the MR2 when I was doing some work on that earlier in the year as well. So, but do be careful, because this stuff obviously is very flammable. I remember a friend of mine I think he'd changed the spark plugs on a V8, and he left one of the HT leads off, and he'd brake cleaned the whole engine to, oh no, he was looking for an air leak on the intake manifold. That's right, he was spraying some brake cleaner in there, and if it gets sucked in through the leak, the engine revs suddenly rise momentarily, so you know you found the leak. Well, what he didn't realise was there was a point of ignition under the engine bay, which was this rogue HT lead arcing to ground, so there was an exposed spark. Anyway, it ignited all the brake cleaner around the engine bay, and the whole thing just went woof, up. And I was working in the bay next door to him, and I looked across, and all I could see was flames pouring out this engine bay, and I'm like, holy shit. So I ran across to the fire extinguisher, but by the time I actually turned the fire extinguisher on, it all burnt out, because this stuff burns really quick. So fortunately, it caused no damage to the car whatsoever, and he was a bit shocked to what had happened, but we soon realised what had caused the problem. So if you're going to use brake cleaner, brake clean as a fuel to do what we just did, be very, very careful you don't have any other sources of ignition, around that area, because otherwise it's just going to go boom, isn't it? Okay, so a quick summary. We've achieved what we set out to do on this video. We have got the engine running. We found the first fault that we found was the starter solenoid didn't work. Yeah, it clicked, but of course the buzz bars corroded and there was no continuity. It wasn't passing the current through to the starter motor. We found that with a test light. We then also found that the starter motor itself is either seized solid, maybe it's just the bearings. It's got current flow, there is continuity because it's sparking and it's drawing a high current, but it's not spinning the starter. So there's probably a mechanical issue going on there. So we'll no doubt at some point, Sam, be pulling the starter motor off, pull it apart, and see if we can fix it for free. We don't want to spend any money on it, and I'm sure as hell not going to buy any brushes from that guy in Auckland again that charged me $80-something for a pair of brushes for a blower motor. It was ridiculous. We're going to have to pull the carburetor off. You know, give that a good clean out because it's probably a bit crusty inside. It gets that, because it's aluminium, it gets that white furry stuff inside the float bowl, and the fuel's probably gone all gloopy in there and like varnishy, so that'll need a good clean out. And then we've got a starter solenoid to change, starter motor fix. Both of those two, you know, are sort of secondary. The primary things to clean the carb out. And we know that the ignition system is good. We've also got a fault with the ignition switch that we found as well. A bit dodgy on that, but further testing will prove how many wires it connects and so on. We may be able to substitute that switch with something off a different ATV that I've got kicking around that might work. Either that, or we'll just fit a toggle switch. Doesn't matter. And then, hopefully, once all that's done, we'll check the oil and everything, and it should just run like a normal engine. And then, so much to do, we can focus on other stuff like, does it have any brakes? Yeah, that kind of thing. Because if Sam's going to ride it, or Stuntman Ben's going to ride it, or whatever, I don't know, it really could do with at least one brake working, couldn't it really? Because there's some big hills around here. Okay, well, hopefully you found this video helpful. Now, I've done a few on getting old engines up and running, but this one was a bit more involved, and we used test light and bits and pieces. If you enjoyed the video, why not click on the subscribe button? You'll see a little gear icon turn up. Click on the gear icon, and then you can tick the box and turn on notifications. You'll also find me on
Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and Twitter.
You sure will. Yeah, Sam's getting a bit croaky. I think the brake clean and all the fumes out of the engine have just burnt all the inside of her throat away, and she won't be able to speak again for at least 3 months, I reckon, after today. Because you're in the wars now. You've got, stripped throat, you've got bandaged fingers, surgery tomorrow on your hands. So I'm kidding. It really isn't that bad, honestly. You have to show us the scar once it's healed up, Sam.
It's not going to be a scar. It's going to be no nail.
I don't think so.
No fingernail.
No, I think it'll survive. I think after what you've told me, I think you'll be all right. You're not to worry. You'll keep your. Do you do hand shots when you're modelling? Do you do this like the toothpaste woman, or the woman on the tumble dryer that does the settings?
No, perfect cuticles, and I bite my cuticles.
I reckon I could do it. I've got perfect hands.
Well, what's the point of needing perfect hands when there's Photoshop? When everyone you see in a magazine or on something is Photoshop.
Nothing's real anymore.
So then it's like, why do you need perfect hands when you can Photoshop?
Believe it or not, even this camera right now is modifying the image to make us look so much better. Certainly me anyway. I mean, you're already 100%, but for me, off camera, I'm as ugly as shit, to be honest. And this camera makes it look, well, speaks for itself, doesn't it, ladies? Anyway, so you're going to subscribe. YouTube's going to send you down an email as and when I upload new videos. You'll find us on Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and Twitter. And there's also a new...
Patreon.
There is a new Patreon. It's been around 3 or 4 months. You'll find history of the channel, up-and-coming projects. I'll put some behind-the-scenes stuff doing this on there as well. There's Tool Girl profiles, and attached to those are a great list of images, basically, being lifted from videos that you can use as wallpaper and that kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to feed your fans, Sam. Give them what they want, you know. Okay, crew. Patreon. Yes, you can donate as well if you want. If you do decide to donate, please just send through what you can afford. Don't make yourself struggle. It'd be great to have you on board, and if you do become a patron, then you'll get a mention in the next mail call, for sure. All right, chaps, it's lunchtime for me and Sam, so we'll see you next time. Cheers. Over and out. Good job, Sam. And you get the flip again.
Oh!
Yes!